Hey guys, welcome back to another video. We are talking today about adding integers with models, and you may hear these called like algebra tiles or integer chips. You will generally see the positives represented by yellow or plus signs. I recommend using these plus signs that we'll do down below because you're not always going to have a yellow marker or a red marker on you. And you'll see the negatives represented as red, okay? So one thing we can do is we can think of integers as positive and negative teams, okay? So positive and negative numbers as two separate, and we're gonna write teams right here, okay? And the goal is to figure out which one, whenever we're adding integers, if we wanna figure out what the answer is, all we have to do is figure out which one has more players. So that's what they're talking about here, and I'll explain a little bit more about that in a minute. So the team that has more players has an advantage. They're gonna maybe win. Of course, that's not always true in the real world, but that's the way we're gonna try to think of it today, okay? So the answer here is 5, and we'll see why here in just a minute. So if we have negative 15 players and positive 20 players, we end up with more positive players than we do negative players, and so the positive team wins. They have 5 more players, so that's why we have a positive 5 there instead of a negative. So let's see what that looks like. We know that a positive and negative cancel each other out. You may have learned in science that a electron and a proton cancel each other out. That carries over into math. If you haven't learned that, no big deal. That carries over into math. You know that if we go up 1 and down 1, that we end up at 0. Or if we go up 2 and down 2, we end up back at 0. So here's an example of a math problem, an addition problem, where we have negative 5 and positive 2. So we have negative 5 players and 2 positive players. So the players are going to cancel each other out. These 2 guys battle and these 2 guys battle. And then we are left with these 3. We have 3 more negative players than positive players. That means that we end up with negative 3 as our answer. And you do not have to draw everything I'm drawing, but make sure you are recording wherever the boxes are. Okay, so let's move into some examples here. Here we have 7 positives. So we're going to write those out. 1, 2, 3. And then this should already be done for you if you are online. If you are not, you have to be doing this in class with me. And then we have 11 negative players. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we know that they are going to cancel each other out. A positive and a negative is going to cancel each other out. So we're going to go one by one and cross them out. What we are left with is our answer. So we have 2 negatives here, 2 negatives here. Altogether, that is 4 negatives. I'm going to do that again with our next problem. And I started using yellow and realized I don't need to. We have 6 negatives, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2 negatives. Well, positive and negative cancel each other out, but negatives do not cancel out other negatives. So what we have here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 negatives. So our answer is negative 8. For number 3, or the third problem, we have 2 negatives. I kind of went out of order, didn't I? And 2 positives. We know that a positive and negative is going to cancel out. So positive and negative, and what we have left is nothing. So our answer is 0, and you might recognize that 2 and negative 2 are additive inverses, so their sum will always be 0. And And last but not least, we have 5 negatives, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 4 positives, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they are going to cancel out. Positives and negatives are going to cancel each other out. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All we have left is this -1, so we are done at -1. Hope this helps. Use these notes to help you with your IXL today.